Henry Emily is one of the most important characters in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, from the games and now even the movies. He is one of the most important characters when it comes to the lore and overall backstory of the Five Nights at Freddy's series and universe. And to see him in the movie was a sight to see. But we gotta talk about the future, man. What exactly his role will be in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Had a small role in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, a very impactful role in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but we have to overall talk about and really see what exactly he's gonna be doing in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. The big finale that's supposed to have Springtrap come back, William Afton come back in the battle of the century that we're gonna see in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. So let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Henry Emily in the movie, pretty decent role, didn't have too much in it. He gave a little bit of backstory of exactly who Charlotte was, exactly a little bit of who William Afton was at the end of the movie, but really didn't have that much of a role. Talked to Mike Schmidt a little bit, said, oh, I knew she was killed by, that guy after seeing the 5 kids killed. Nothing too crazy for Henry Emily in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 role. It's still crazy to see him in a live action. We get a live action Henry Emily, which is still crazy to see because Henry Emily had a big role in FNAF 5 and Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Obviously, we get the end credit scene of Five Nights at Freddy's 6, the game, of him voicing over everyone burning, Scrap Baby, Scrap Trap, Lefty, and Michael Afton all get burned. But to see him in the flesh in the movie, it's pretty cool to see. Again, didn't do much in the movie, had a very small role. Post-credit scene was him, and in the movie, very slight. Mike Schmidt went to visit him because he put up those signs saying Freddy is a murderer because he was salty. He was very salty about what happened in his life. Again, he kind of was focused on building the animatronics and his work that he kind of let Charlotte go and really didn't focus a lot on Charlotte. So he blames himself for what happened to Charlotte, getting herself in that, back room with William Afton and eventually getting her killed and eventually her getting possessed by the puppet. When we take a look at the end credit scene that's going to lead into Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we see him say, Mike, there's more animatronics out there. And then he somehow gets attacked. We don't know who attacked him. Was that the puppet going after him? Was that Vanessa? Was that William Afton? Another animatronic. We don't know exactly what the animatronic was that did. Just like in Five Nights at Freddy's 6, that end credit scene of the tape recording, man, it sounded exactly like Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Man, we got to give him a lot of credit. He did nail that part of the post-credit scene. It sounded so good. It sounded exactly like Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Him giving the speech of the audio recording, said the exact line and all that stuff, leaving dead space. That shit was pretty cool to see because Five Nights at Freddy's 6, the end credit scene of Five Nights at Freddy's 6 is one of the most biggest moments in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, but to see a small hope of it, a small glimmer of it in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was pretty cool, man. So he gets it somewhat maybe attacked in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I don't think he's gonna die. I don't think he's an off-screen kill or something like that, but we see him get some background noise, gets attacked, and we see him say, Mike, there's more of them, more of them. What animatronics is he talking about? Is he talking about Circus Baby? Is he talking about Springtrap? Is he talking about the puppet? What exactly is he talking about? Because he said there's more of them out there. Is he talking about the puppet? Vanessa? Who knows what he's talking about? So if we take a look at what his role can be in that Five Nights at Freddy's 3, again, we already got some early development of the directors and stuff have an itch to get Matthew Lillard and Skeet in a scene together, Henry Emily versus William Afton. They're even itching for that. So if they're even itching for that, we got to be itching for that for sure. So what can they do with him? Now, I do think Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we're going to get an expanded Henry Emily because, again, the only characters that could be in the mix for Five Nights at Freddy's 3 are going to be Mike, Abby, Vanessa, the puppet, William Afton as Springtrap, and Henry Emily. Now, we don't have the toys, we don't have the originals, and we don't have the Withered. So there's going to be a lot less focus on the extras and the background characters and focus on the main characters of the story, which are William Afton, Vanessa, the puppet, Mike, Abby, and Henry Emily. Now, again, I do think Henry Emily's role in the movie is going to be a lot of flashback scenes of maybe he's telling Mike, hey, we have to stop this, but I know William Afton in and out. And we have a flashback scene of them building the animatronics. Like I said in a previous video, maybe Henry Emily heard William Afton say something a little sus, like, oh, I can't wait to do this with this animatronic, and it kind of sussed them out. Like, what do you mean by that type of thing? Maybe that's some of the scenes that we're going to get in the flashback scenes. Maybe it's, again, like backstory about William Afton. Again, at the end credit scene, he said, I was William Afton's business partner. He knows him in and out, and he's going to give him the whole spill of how to defeat William Afton. He knows William Afton in and out. They were so close. They were business partners. They built the whole, Five Nights at Freddy's, animatronics and universe all together. So I do think we're going to get a lot of flashback scenes. He's going to have a bigger role than he did in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie for sure, especially bringing back William Afton, Matthew Lillard as William Afton and Springtrap. That's his arch nemesis. Like, that's literally like a 1-2 right there. I do think having him in there, getting a lot of flashback scenes. The dream sequence for us would be having a Springtrap encounter Henry Emily and they recognize each other. Dude, that shit right there would be so fire, man. Henry Emily says, look how far you've fallen. I'm avenging Charlotte. Dude, that shit right there would hit, man. Come on, man. That shit right there would hit. We get a Henry Emily versus William Afton battle sequence. Maybe they fight it out. Maybe they chase each other. Dude, or they acknowledge each other. Dude, they gotta throw that in there, man. Because at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 6, he says, don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. He's well aware of who he's burning. He's well aware that he's burning William Afton. So that he has some sort of, recollection of William Afton's Springtrap. He knows who he's burning. So he has to 100% encounter William Afton. I don't know if it's going to be in person because, again, Springtrap is going to be this killer animatronic. I don't know if Henry Emily survives that. Maybe he sacrifices himself. I don't know. But I do think we're going to get a good chance of seeing an encounter of Henry Emily and William Afton. Dude, that shit's going to hit, bro. I'm still thinking about that, dude. The two going against each other, that shit would hit. But let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Flashback scenes, 100% we're going to get. There's no way we don't get any flashback scenes of William Afton and Henry Emily. Maybe building the animatronics, maybe building Baby, maybe building the Spring Bonnie suit would be really freaking cool if he builds Spring Bonnie and a young William Afton's putting on the Spring Bonnie hat saying, oh, hey, this is what I'm going to do, etc., etc. That would be pretty cool. 100% do think we're going to get that, but obviously Henry Emily's going to have a bigger role, not that crazy of a role, but I do think Henry Emily is going to be the climax of the movie. I do think he is going to light Fazbear Frights on fire, and he is going to burn Charlotte, Vanessa, Michael Afton, and William Afton. I do think those are the people he will burn. Similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 6, he's burning Elizabeth, Baby, he's burning Lefty, he's burning all these characters, and I do think his daughter will be burned, and he will give a similar speech when he's burning Fazbear Frights to Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Whether it's, oh, don't keep the devil waiting, old friend, the whole spill, the whole similar situation, he will do that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I 100% believe that. Definitely 100% gonna get flashback sequences, but I 100% believe that we will get that Five Nights at Freddy's 6 moment of him burning Fazbear Frights to the ground. It's only right. It makes sense with the story. Maybe Mike is in trouble. Mike and Abby are in trouble. Henry Emily comes and saves the day, burns the thing down with Charlotte, with Vanessa, and he gives a speech. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe he's looking at Charlotte through a window while the place is burning and he's saying the speech. My daughter, Charlotte, etc., etc. Like the whole speech, like that would be so cool, man. But I do think Henry Emily is going to have a bigger role in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. He's going to have a well-expanded role, a lot of flashbacks, hopefully an encounter with William Afton, Springtrap. That would be really, really fire. But I do think at the end of the day, he will be the climax. He will burn down. Him and Mike and Abby will be working together to take down Springtrap, to take down Michael Afton, to take down Vanessa, and eventually he will have to burn Charlotte because that's what's just going to happen. That's what is going to end up happening. So guys, what do you think Henry Emily's role is going to be in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 movie? I'm not going to lie, man. He could be one of the dark horse characters to really steal the spotlight in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 if they do him right. But guys, let me know, what do you want Henry Emily's role to be, and what do you think his role is going to be? Tell me what you want and tell me what you think in the comments below. But if you guys can, man, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We're posting FNAF, Mario, Sonic, the Avengers, anything you guys want, let me know in the comments, man. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Amen. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'll see you guys in the next video.